So our next talker is Andrew Gibbs Mills.
I'm Andrew Gibbs Mills. A little on the nervous side. I'm not used to talking to this many people at one time. We're all in Mills Township, and Mills Township was actually named after me. Born in Bourbon County, Kentucky in 1773. I died in 1859. My father was a patriot, Benjamin Mills, from which the DAR gets their name from. It's the Benjamin Mills chapter of the Daughter's American Revolution. Mary Trotter Mills in 1797. We had 9 children, and the eldest one was Milton. And I just want to talk about Milton for a little bit. Milton did some interesting things. He was kind of an investor, really. He was when he came with them. He invested in land and was a businessman and so on and so forth. And he, investing in land, he actually sold the land that became Keysport to Thomas Keyes. So he was the guy that owned the land originally and sold that. Also, Milton owned a carding mill. If anybody knows what a carding mill is, a carding mill, the C-A-R-D, carding mill. That's where you take like wool and it goes through this machine and it sorts it out and sorts the fibers and allows you to make thread and so on and so forth. And that was something that he did. The rest of the children would be Betsy, and you're going to recognize maybe some of these names from history also. Betsy married John Henry. Mildred married William Durley from the Durley Camp people up there in Woburn. And Minerva, we just talked about Minerva, who married Neely McNeil. Mary Isabel married George Floyd. Perry married Polly McAdams. And then there was Joseph, William, and Margaret Jane was the youngest. She married Harry Sharp. A little bit about Bourbon County, kind of an interesting place. Everybody wonders about that, it seems like. Bourbon County, Kentucky is located northeast of Lexington. And Bourbon was one of 9 Virginia counties that formed before Kentucky became a state in 1792. And I just want to tell you, and I know everybody wants to know this, which came first, the whiskey or the county? Well, the county came first. Wow. The whiskey actually the name Bourbon actually comes from Bourbon County, but the whiskey came because it was according to my research here, Bourbon County was a huge farming community. There was good ground there, and they farmed a lot of things, and with the grains and everything like that, that's where they came up with the blend of whiskey that was called bourbon. So, in 1826, they left Bourbon County, he left Bourbon County on foot with a rifle. His research, obviously, it came from his youngest daughter, so she recounts some of this, and this is where some of this came from. He came to Illinois to find a suitable home for a large family. Gosh, there was 9 of them. I think we need a pretty good sized place. In the autumn of 1826, he packed up I hope I can say this right, Pensacola wagon, a spring wagon, and a 2-horse carriage. They brought a herd of sheep with them, and they headed for Illinois for a farm they had purchased here a couple miles southeast of the cemetery. And that location is, if you happen to know where Betty LeGant lived, where the Bunyards, between Bunyards and Betty LeGant, there's also Harvey Stokes lived back there. That was some of the ground that was at. As they were crossing, when they got to Flat Branch, obviously we didn't have Highway 127 at the time, so they lost quite a bit of the sheep in Flat Branch because at that time it was just a large swampy area with very, very tall grass. And and the sheep kind of panicked, and they lost quite a few sheep during that truck through there. The new home that they moved into, we actually moved into a home that was that had an orchard with fruit-bearing peaches and cherries. But the 9 kids and 2 adults for a 26 by 17 foot log building, and they all lived in it, at least for a while. At that time, there was one home between us and Carlyle, and there was 2 homes between us and Greenville. So not very many people around. One thing that I did want to note about making this trek is that we brought the family with the wagons and things like that, but we did ship tools and implements and things like that from Bourbon County, from Louisville to St. Louis by water, and then hauled them out of St. Louis back to here. One just side note here at the end, the food was plentiful in this area. They basically dined on deer, prairie chickens, quail, and rabbits. So, Andrew, Gibbs.